Aloha mai kako. Welcome to Makawao Home Ganji's Hatsubon First Born Memorial Service for 2026. My name is Lois Nishikawa, and I will be your MC this evening. Please take a moment to turn off or silence your cell phones now. Thank you. Hatsubon service is a very special memorial service held in memory of loved ones lost during the past year since the last Obon. For family and friends, our departed loved ones, Hatsubon First Memorial Service creates the time, place, and occasion to remember our departed loved ones with love and affection, to reflect upon their continued influence, and to express our profound gratitude for their being part of our lives. Reverend Kerry Kiyohara will officiate today's Hatsubon service, which begins with the invocation San Bujo, 3 respectful callings.
We respectfully call upon the Tathagata Amida, the Tathagata Shakyamuni, the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter this place of practice, joyfully scattering flowers of health. Namo.
Reverend Kerry will chant the Amida Kyo, the Sutra of the Amida Buddha, one of the 3 Pure Land Sutra in the Jodo Shinshu Honganji tradition. After performing the Todai Ban ritual, ascending to the ceremonial dais. The Todai Ban ritual is performed for major services and includes the 3 kneeling bows, the most formal bow in Honganji tradition, anointing robes and vestments with powdered incense, the offering of incense 2 times by the priest. This is the only time you'll see this. After the sutra chanting, Reverend Carey will perform the Goraiban ritual for descending from the ceremonial dais, offering incense, returning the implements to their original positions, and performing the 3 kneeling vows. During the sutra chanting, the names of each Hatsubon memorial will be read aloud. For those attending here in person, family and friends of each departed loved one are encouraged to come up to the front of the hall to offer incense as a gesture of respect and an expression of gratitude. Please feel free to use any of the 3 burners at the front of the hall. For those of you joining us this evening with the service online, please reflect upon the influence of the departed loved one in your life and express gratitude in the way that is most appropriate for you. After the Hatsubon families and friends have offered incense, we invite all other attendees to offer incense in the memory of their loved ones. If you are not able to come up to the front, please raise your hand and a portable incense burner will be brought to you to your seat. The family of the late Tad Tadashi Sakamoto, Shaku Sho Shin, born in the Pure Land on April 15, 2025. Hiromi Tanaka, Shaku Enro, born in the Pure Land on May 24, 2025. Suzuki Matsumura, Shaku Meijo, born in the Pure Land on July 17, 2025. Masao Motooka, Shaku Hongan, born in the Pure Land on July 19, 2025. Ruthie Riko Cutright, Shakujo Myo, born in the Pure Land on September 12, 2024. Lillian Tomoko Kobayashi, Shaku Keishi, born in the Pure Land on September 24, 2025. Annette Naomi Ward, Shaku An Raku, born in the Pure Land on September 4, 2025. J. Haruyuki Tanaka, Shaku Seiku, born in the Pure Land on November 16, 2025. Joanne Ayame Honda, Shaku Myo Toku, born in the Pure Land on December 11, 2025. Melvin Noboru Itamura, Shakuchi Toku, born in the Pure Land on December 18, 2025. Miss Evelyn Sumiko Hamai, Shakucho-ku, born in the Pure Land on March 18, 2026. Representing the Makawao Honganji Mission, Temple Council President, Ms. Karen Ishizu. We welcome everyone else to offer incense at this time in memory of their loved ones. Please feel free to use any of the incense burners at the front. If you are not able to come up to the front, please raise your hand and a portable incense burner will be brought to you at your seat.
Namaskar, Namaskar, Namaskar.
Reverend Kerry Kiyohara will now read the English translation of the Letter on White Ashes, which was written by Renyon Shoning, the 8th Monshu chief priest of the Honganji in the 15th century. Please listen quietly to the wisdom that comes to us from the 15th century in Japan.
In deeply contemplating the transient nature of life, nothing is more fleeting than our journey through this world. It is as an all too short dream. Has anyone lived 10,000 years? Life swiftly passes, and how many have lived for even 100 years? Whether I go before others, or whether others go before me, whether it is to be today, or whether it is to be tomorrow, who is to know? Those who are sent off before us, as countless as the fragile drops of dew. Though in the morning we may be radiant with health, in the evening winds of impermanence blow, our eyes are closed forever. As we breathe our last breath, our face loses its color. Our loved ones gather and lament, but to no avail. The body is then carried out to an open field and disappears in smoke which smolders through the night, leaving only white ashes. Is there any expression for such a sad plight? This fragile nature of human existence underlies both the young and old, and we should therefore all the sooner turn our hearts to the singularly important matter of true and real life. We should recite the Nembutsu upon having completely entrusted all that we are to the Buddha Amida. In gratitude, we acknowledge these words humbly and respectfully. Humbly and respectfully. Nam.
Anakashiko. Anakashiko.
We are very fortunate to have a guest speaker for Hatsubon, Reverend Sidney Shiroyama from the BCA, Buddhist Churches of America. Reverend Sidney Shiroyama is a certified minister's assistant at the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple, a BCA temple in California. Reverend Sidney completed Tokudo ordination in October 2025 and will move to Japan this October to continue her journey toward full-time ministry. Reverend Sidney is very active in BCA programs and organizations and has worked professionally as a pediatric occupational therapist for 10 years. She leads Taiko classes for the Silicon Valley Down Syndrome Network community, collaborated with San Jose Taiko to develop a recreation class for people with Parkinson's disease, and facilitated lessons for the Mountain View High School Special Education Program. Reverend Sidney is also very active in BCA programs and organizations and a founding member of Bonbu Stories, an Asian American artist collective, and created Lantern Song, a new Obong song and Odori dance, to commemorate the Buddhist Churches of America's 125th anniversary in 2024. Please welcome Reverend Sidney Shiroyama.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Thank you Lois for that introduction. And before I begin my talk, I'd like to see if my clicker's working. Please join me in Gasho as I open with a quote from Shinran Shonin from the Shoshingan. Although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always casting its light upon me. Among us, among us. Hello everybody. Thank you all so much for having me here to speak with you at your Hatsubon service, and special thank you to Reverend Kiyohara for inviting me here today. My family and I we arrived on Thursday morning, and so far we're having an amazing time. We kind of made this a little family vacation, which is nice because this will be one of the last family vacations before I move to Japan. So hopefully the next one will be in Japan, that's our hope. This is actually my second time visiting the Makawao Buddhist Temple. I was here exactly 2 years ago with my friends from Bonbu Stories. One of our members, Kendall Tani, came to honor her great-grandmother's Hatsubon. Her great-grandmother's name was Florence Sakaya, and maybe some of you remember her. She passed away at the age of 105 years old. And from what I understand, she was a very active member of this temple. And as her obituary states, she will be dearly remembered for living a fulfilled long life and her many years of dedication to her church, community, and family. And this is a picture of her here with Kendall. I have never met Miss Florence Sakaya, but her picture and her description reminds me a lot of my own grandmother. My grandmother, Akiko Shiroyama, passed away in 2022 at the age of 94, and she lived her whole life in California's Central Valley. In 2017, when she was 91, I opted to move in with her for a year to work as an occupational therapist at a local hospital. Living with my grandmother was wholesome, inspiring, and sometimes very frustrating. This is her pictured standing on a step stool with a cushion and wearing socks, despite me nagging her constantly to never do that. And in the middle, this is her 3-hour routine of reading her newspaper cover to cover and doing all of the word puzzles. And on the very right is when I joined her at her gym for her daily exercise routine. She made sure to get 10,000 steps a day, and she wore a pedometer and wrote the amount of steps on her calendar every day. So, like many Nisei grandmas, she physically fought me and the rest of our family for the check at restaurants, and she always won. She made tsukemono and layered jello and would give out cucumbers and tomatoes from her garden in a cardboard flat, and also handed out brown bags with and she tended to her obutsudan every morning and night. Maybe she sounds familiar to some of you here. You might know somebody like her. This is a picture of her and her friends, her church friends. So my grandmother, my mother, and my mom's side of the family grew up in a small Central California farming town called Layton and attended the Hanford Buddhist Church. My mom moved to the San Francisco Bay Area to start a family, and we started going to the Palo Alto Temple when I was 4 years old. I really loved going to church growing up, and I loved going with my family, hanging out with my Dharma school friends, playing taiko, and being in junior YBA. And when I was 15, my friends convinced me to attend a retreat for high schoolers. It was 2007, and the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley had recently been built. This retreat was known as the YAC Retreat, short for Youth Advocacy Committee. They have a similar retreat now called the Buddhist Youth Retreat, and I think actually Bishop Umetani's daughter attended a couple years ago, so we do welcome any youth from Hawaii to that retreat. It was, and it still is, a kind of Buddha boot camp. We learned how to do every part of a service, including ringing the kancho, giving a Dharma talk, and leading chanting. I now know that it was modeled very closely to the Tokudo ordination, and even today we ask the students to lead Shoshinge 3 times a day. So it's like a 20 or 30-minute chant, and they have to recite all the wasans, and so we do have high expectations for the high schoolers during this retreat. The summer after this retreat, I traveled to Oahu with a group of people who had completed the Yak retreat. Here's a picture of some of the places we visited. We slept on the floors of different study centers and temples throughout Oahu. We drove around in a cockroach-infested van. We got severely sunburned. We ate amazing food, and we attended a handful of obons. And we really couldn't believe, we were really blown away by the amount you guys dance out here. We were just at Watsonville Buddhist Temple's Obon last Sunday, and the service started at 4 o'clock. The dancing started promptly at 4:30. It ended at 5:30, and everything was cleaned up and cleared out by 7 p.m. It was just really good. The trip to Oahu was amazing, and we were very privileged to attend many lectures by scholars like Dr. George Hanabe and the late Dr. Alfred Bloom. We also got to know newly ordained ministers such as Reverend David Fujimoto, and we met young Buddhist people from Hawaii. And it was during this trip that I began to understand the scope of our Jodo Shinshu community. While there were many differences between BCA and the Honganji in Hawaii, our shared core Shin Buddhist values shone through. I was beginning to realize then how much there is to explore outside of my Buddhist Churches of America bubble. After high school, I went to UCLA for college and then pursued occupational therapy as a career. But I always felt a pull back to the temple, especially after living with my grandmother and seeing how much the community and the religion meant to her. The smell of the incense, the sounds of the chanting, and being with my friends who have watched me grow up, it all felt like coming home to family, and it was where I decided to put my energy into. When the pandemic started, I had some extra time on my hands, and so I started taking classes at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, which is commonly referred to as IBS. As I was working on my master's degree, I trained for the Tokudo ordination, which is the first level of ordination to become a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist minister. It is a 10-day intensive in Kyoto. Like was mentioned in my bio, I completed it last October with 4 other people from BCA and 3 people from Hawaii. And here's a picture of our group. So I know I get a lot of questions about hair, and so just to clarify, for Tokudo, the men, they all have to shave their head. They don't have a choice, but the women can choose. And so I figured that this was an opportunity, a unique opportunity to let go of my hairy attachments, and I opted to go for the buzz. And I thought it was going to be a big deal. I was really worried about being bald, but it really wasn't a problem, and I came back and nobody cared. So if all goes to plan, I do hope to eventually become a full-time resident minister for the Buddhist Churches of America, if they'll have me. But before that, I'm planning to move to Japan to learn as much Japanese as I can, and then complete the religious requirements in Kyoto. But for now, I'm so thrilled and happy to be with you all today. And I'd like to share with you a little bit about the group I'm a part of, Bamboo Stories, and the Obon song that we wrote back in 2024. So when I was a student at UCLA, and I played taiko when I was a student at UCLA, and then as I was becoming an occupational therapist, I began to explore the intersection of healthcare and taiko. And because of this, in 2019, a friend of mine who is involved in an Asian American mental health organization asked me if I could put together a taiko composition that focuses on the topic of mental health for a fundraiser gala. I told her that while I don't have the skills on my own to make that happen, I do have several musician friends who I could call upon, and I thought they might be interested. They trusted me, and they agreed to meet up to work on this project, even though some of them had never met each other. And to my surprise, and luckily, the stars aligned and they all got along, and we finished our piece in one weekend, and I was very pleased when they wanted to work together on projects in the future. The core group is pictured here. This was our original meeting. And the original members include Kendall Tani, Miharu Okamura, Vicky Zhang, Emily Imazumi, and Miko Shudo. And then to the right of me in this picture are our advisors, all taiko players, PJ Hirabayashi and Chris and Dan Kubo. As we discussed where we wanted our group to go next, we realized that we needed a name. After much discussion, we came up with the name Bamboo Stories. We chose the name Bamboo because our group had been influenced by Buddhist teachings of acceptance and gratitude, and many of us shared the identity of Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. And as many of you know, Bamboo is a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist term meaning ordinary, imperfect, or unenlightened being. This term carries with it a sense of compassion and acceptance for human life and our flaws, mistakes, and potential for growth. We resonated with this concept and decided to center our future work and creative process around this definition, believing in the power and value of vulnerability, authenticity, and interconnectedness. And at the end of 2022, the Buddhist Churches of America's Music Committee reached out to us asking us if we could make a new Obon song to commemorate the Buddhist Churches of America's 125th anniversary, which was in 2024. We do have songwriters in the group, and mainly Miko and Miharu, but nobody has written a song for Obon. When we thought about Obon music, songs like Kankubushi or Obon no Uta came to mind, songs that are old school, soulful, Japanese, and none of us could speak Japanese, so we had no idea where to start or if we even had the skills to deliver this commission. But our original group was formed when a friend asked me to do something that I alone was not qualified for, and I reached out to help. So in true Bamboo Stories fashion, we reached out to our friends in our community for some advice. We contacted people who had written Obon music in the last 30 years, such as PJ Hirabayashi, who wrote Eiji Naika, a song that is danced here at this Obon, and Reverend Emeritus Maskodani and artist Nobuko Miyamoto from Senshi Buddhist Temple, who have co-written 6 Obon songs between 1984 and 2015. And some of you might be familiar with Reverend Maskodani. He was a minister at Senshin Buddhist Temple in Los Angeles from 1968 to when he retired in 2013. And I believe he was also the minister when Reverend Kiyohara was growing up attending Senshin. And so his influence resonates here in Makawao as well. During our meeting with him, we asked him what he thinks is the most important aspect of Obon. And he said, and I quote, "At Senshin every year, people who have had a death in the family will buy a little lantern, and I put the deceased person's name on it in English and in Japanese. So at every Obon, we have about 300 lanterns, each with a name on it. And we dance under them. And I put a tag on all of those lanterns. And it never occurred to me to look up and see these things until about 5 years ago. I don't know why. I looked up and I saw this name, and I knew who this person was. And I saw another one, and pretty soon I realized I knew every name of every person hanging on the lanterns. I didn't take my own advice until about 5 years ago, but when I did, I was stunned. They were right there. They were in here, but they were there, and they were dancing. And I could remember an incident with almost every one of them." Our group was very moved by this story, and we knew that we wanted to create a piece that would attempt to capture the spiritual heart of Obon. When we thought about the 125 years of BCA and the nearly 60 temple communities nationwide, we realized that there have been a lot of Obons and a lot of lanterns. Reverend Kodani reminded us that when we dance under these lanterns, it's important to remember that they represent a life that has ended, a life whose influence has rippled through our communities. For our song, we decided to depict a conversation from the Yonsei generation to our ancestors, to draw attention to the lanterns and the mixed emotions of sadness, joy, and gratitude when we think about those who have passed away. The lyrics of Lantern Song were written by Miharu Okamura and Miko Shudo, and I think they captured these complicated feelings so beautifully. And I'd like to read the lyrics, and I'll play the video at the end so you can hear the real version. Verse 1 and 2 is written from our perspective as we grieve the loss of our loved ones. It reads, "Your weathered shirt I love keeps me warmer when I need you in my arms. This house I see, without you feels so big, so empty. I try to carry on, but I get in my own way. You told me to be strong. And now you're gone, and it pains me to look back. Never thought it would hurt so bad without you." And verse 3 and 4 is what we hear and feel when we remember them at Obon. "Place your hand on your heart. Hear it beating, that's the sound of our love. Look up, here I am, flying high above, painting the sky for you. Can't you see my name? It's written in the stars. Your guiding light beams wherever you are." These verses remind me of the passage of Shoshinge, which reads, "Although my eyes, blinded by passions, do not see the brilliant light which embraces me, the great compassion never tires, always casting its light upon me." When we're running around at Obon, rolling sushi and chopping onions, we might not always notice the lanterns that surround us. But the presence of our ancestors are there, guiding us, even if we don't see it. Just like the lanterns that illuminate the sky, Amida's great compassion casts its light upon everyone. In response, we dance, sing, and chant together in gratitude, sadness, and joy. And I think this is where Obon dancing is such an important form of movement meditation for us as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. It's not just happy or sad, but somewhere in the gray area where we can hold everything at once. It's not something we perform or show off. We dance all summer, especially you guys here in Hawaii. And then it's over, and then we come back and do it again the next year. And in Obon circle, we can come as we are and bask in the light of great compassion. And when I listen to Dance Lantern Song, I always think about my ancestors, especially those I used to attend Obon with. Despite the intense 110 degrees, extremely dry Central Valley heat, we would try to make it to my grandma's Obon in Visalia every year. My grandma loved to sit along the edge of the circle and watch me and my sister dance. She would only ever dance to Tonkabushi. But even so, she attended every dance practice. And she said it was to help out, but I had a feeling it was mostly to gossip with her friends. She passed away before being able to listen and learn Lantern Song, but I'd like to think she would have given it a shot. Lantern Song reminds me that our community is guided by our ancestors, like my grandma and like Kendall's great-grandmother, Florence. Both women showed up again and again to tirelessly serve this community and help out wherever they could. And knowing this makes me want to work hard to preserve these cultures and traditions that they held so dear. To show up and help out, even a fraction of the amount that they did. And all of us here, even if we're not related by blood or by familial line, are a part of Jodo Shinshu history in the United States. We all play a part in making this place feel like home for so many others. Both the Buddhist Churches of America and the Honpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii have experienced over 125 years of Jodo Shinshu, and we're all connected by the vast web of ancestors represented by the Obon lanterns that surround us. If you've never danced the song, Lantern Song, please do give it a try, by the way, because the moves are quite simple, and it's easy to catch on to. And I think it will, or yesterday was the first Obon song, I think it will be today as well, so please, I hope you all can dance with us. But as you dance Lantern Song later tonight, or just listen to the song in the future, I hope that it can be a reminder of our ancestors who have passed away, our shared community that we're in, our legacy in the United States, and a hopeful future guided by the gratitude that we share. Just like the lanterns that illuminate the sky, Amida's great compassion casts its light upon everyone. And now I'd like to end by sharing the Lantern Song music video, which highlights many different Obons throughout the Buddhist Churches of America. Thank you so much for listening.
Wear the shirt I love, keeps me warm when I need you in my arms. This house I see, without you feels so big, so empty. I try to carry on, but I get in my own way. Told me to be strong, now you're gone, and it pains me to look back. Never thought it would hurt so bad without you. You'd say, don't fret, don't worry, you're strong and tough. Live your life, this beauty, it comes from us. Be yourself, I promise you to love. So we
Thank you, Reverend Sidney. You know, we don't often get to know how a song was created. So we're so lucky that we know about Lantern Song, because some of us dance Tanko Bushu. We don't know why or how it was started, so now we know. Everyone here in the temple tonight has or had a Nisei grandma or grandpa, right? And we have lanterns out there around the Bon dance and around the temple. And if you look closely at the lanterns, there are names of our departed loved ones. So we all had a Nisei grandma and grandpa. There are our friends of our departed loved ones, family out there. We know the origin of Lantern Song. So everyone, tonight we will dance. Let us dance tonight, okay? First song. So, can you please rise, if you are able, and let's sing the Nembutsu, which is found on the screen.
Embraced by Namu Amida Butsu, I vowed never to complain. Thinking thus, again, I complained. The wisdom of Mrs. Haru Matsuda, who lived from 1892 to 1974. She was an Issei pioneer who lived in Kona, Hawaii. Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Mahalo nui to our guest speaker, Reverend Sidney Shiroyama, for sharing the Dharma and Lantern Song, to Floyd Nagoshi for ringing the kancho this evening, to Adam Van Alderwood for producing the live stream, and to Reverend Carey for officiating tonight's Hatsubon service. So on behalf of the Makawao Honganji Temple, thank you all for taking the time from your busy schedule and to observe this service in memory of our departed loved ones and honored ancestors. This concludes the first Obon Memorial Service, Hatsubon, for 2026. Please enjoy the rest of the evening and have fun, and please drive home safely. Now, if you pre-ordered your chow fan as a Hatsubon family, please go directly to the pickup window of the temple kitchen to collect your order. Keiki Games and the food concession opens at 6 p.m. and Bon Dance opening begins at 7 p.m. Thank you again for attending this evening.
Thank you, Lois. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Hey, you take care, yeah?
I was like excellent. I felt like I might have been in school listening to the teacher. You know, she was Sable's teacher from the first day Sable.
When we were at the
At the temporary.
at the houses,
yes.
yeah. I don't even know him. I have Sable. Sable had uku, yeah. He come into the office. He sings. Instead of saying Wasagata uku, he's singing. You know Sable. She's all like. But that's the first time no, we were only in the office. He didn't say that in the class. We were just in the office.
The fact that he's
Hey, you gotta take a joke. Come on.
But yeah, she was 2007, yeah, she graduated. So she was my second, third grade class.
Yeah, you were her main teacher.
I was the best, yeah. No,
Yeah. Yes, we gotta get a picture. Show Sable. Sable's on the big alley. Her son was dancing
Is it
at the
okay
Kiki
to take
Hula.
photos inside?
Sable's at the Kiki
You know what?
Hula.
I'm gonna return this.
Okay, we go this way.
okay, this way. You gotta make us look young, you know.
Yes.
Hard, yeah,
So, are you retired?
and you know what? I think Mr. Makawao.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody got it.
Our parks
I
guy.
mean, right? Sable's babies. So Noah can take second
He's at Kamehameha. When Milo is at Punana. Yeah, he's going to be one. So we got 4 boys, 4 grandsons. She's got 3 of them. Our middle one's got 1. And then, so she's now 37, and there's 34 and 31.
Because my second son is Sable. They kind of know each other, yeah. He's in the middle of the reading scene right now.